Alright, hello, welcome. This is going to be a video about me discussing SC Gundam Battle Alliance a year later. Now, we're very close to a year later. The game came out on August 25th, 2023 for all platforms, including Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam. Now, this game featured most of the series from the Gundam franchise, ranging from the original Gundam all the way down to what you're going to see on screen, which was in April. Witcher Mercury was included with Suletta Mercury as a DLC, which was $9. Now, in my opinion, I love this game. It started my channel, started all the way back in February, and I'm glad to be where I am now that I can upload GBO2 videos or even a video on the death of Gundam Evolution and get a decent chunk of following out of it. Not necessarily subscribers, but in terms of interaction, and I do appreciate everybody that does that. But getting off topic. ST Gundam Battle Alliance was a game that was very similar to action games that people have seen before, where you have a main, a sub 1, a sub 2, and some combos that you can do. Now, if you've seen games before, like Neptunia Virtual Stars or even the Tales of series, you would know that yeah, it's sort of like that combat where you get to see their health bars, you get to do some damage to them, and it's more of in a free-form combat style rather than being turn-based as the SD Gundam games have been before, with SD Gundam G Generation Genesis and SD Gundam G Generation Crossrays, which most would know because that was one of the first SD Gundam games to release on Steam and be a gateway to most people into Gundam. Now, do I think SD Gundam Battle Alliance was bad? My opinion, no. I do not think it was bad at all. I think it was actually quite good. Now, for a $60 price tag, yeah, maybe not the $60 price tag it was worth. Maybe once it became $30 or even later on in its life cycle towards the beginning of 2023, it was featured on Xbox Game Pass, and I believe it's on Game Pass now. So if you have not tried it, please do. I implore you. It's free, risk-free, and there's even a demo for it if you don't want to fork out the money for Game Pass. But I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was fun. So the story of the game was, of course, with Hermes Mercury being the main villain, as you, the commander, and Yuno Astarte, your bosom buddy, as she says in the game, are transported to the G universe. And this G universe consists of different things that happened in most of the Gundam series. Of course, the final battle between Char and Amuro in the original Gundam. You have, of course, Kira and Arthrun facing off against Ralo Cruze at the end of Seed, for examples. And even, of course, the Bael facing off against Mikhailio. Not Mikhailio. What was his name? Facing off against the Kimara Svidar. Excuse me, I can't remember his name. Galileo Baldwin. There we go. And it was a very interesting game in general. Because again, you got to see many mobile suits and many different stories melding together, especially the break missions, as you got to see different characters interacting in ways you might not have thought. Like certain characters melding together. Like, for example, there was one DLC mission where I believe it was Shiro Amada, Amuro Ray, and also Christina McKenzie facing off against, let's say, the Big Zam and even the Alpha Azeru and Hathaway when DLC 2 came out. So that was or DLC 3 came out, that was very fun. So, I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point, but SD Gundam Battle Alliance, unfortunately, didn't have much DLC again after April 2023. That was the last DLC that came out for the game, and I haven't heard much about it since. Because they did a collaboration. I think it was the week that Witcher Mercury was off the air for a week because they had to take a week off, and in that time they unveiled it to come to Battle Alliance, and it was really cool. I mean, I made a couple videos back then, hoping that Battle Alliance would, of course, get Suletta Mercury in some way, shape, or fashion. Hopefully with the mission, but unfortunately it was only the mobile suits, I believe, a handful of interactions, which you saw at the beginning of the video, but there was a lot more. And also the fact that there was some goodies that came with it. Now, the DLC offerings for this game were pretty good. DLC 1 were released in September. DLC 1 released in August, literally as soon as the game came out, 2 weeks after it came out. DLC 2 released in September, and then DLC 3 released on October 27th, 2022, which ended the main line of DLC for SD Gundam Battle Alliance. Now, there were raid battles, like sort of what you see here, but it was different in the fact that they were basically glorified boss rushes. Towards the end of the game, you had boss rushes that you had to go through to defeat enemies, and these enemies were not reskinned, but of course just stronger enemies than you've seen before. And that was the end game of SC on the Battle Alliance. You just hope to get your mobile suit stronger and stronger to face these enemies, and eventually you got to the point where you had 600, maybe even thousands of ranged attack, and as you stacked your parts together, they had 3 different abilities, some hard that would make it harder for you to use, or some make it easier for you to use. And in general, it was more trying to spec your mobile suit out instead of, trying to, pick your favorite suit and just go to town, which you can, but there was some clear, strong suits. Like, for example, the Banshee Norn. I'm using the Freedom on screen, but the Banshee Norn was exceedingly powerful as one of the strongest mobile suits in the game. And would you believe it? The gun tank. Yes, that's right. The gun tank was the strongest, as mobile armors had this, blue bar that you had to deplete, but you were able to do that without having to worry if you used physical damage. So, in general, SC Gundam Battle Alliance, I loved it. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to get any more DLC. It's been way too long to have any DLC, but I mean, who knows in the future? I mean, Gun Evo went, so hopefully Battle Alliance doesn't take the same fate in terms of the online servers going down. So again, if you did enjoy this video, you can of course leave a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I know that Battle Alliance started my channel, and it's sad to see it rot at this point, but hey, what are you going to do? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye!